Each room was the same as the last. Untouched and empty, a thin layer of dust coating its contents. It's as if these rooms had not been used in some time. And then they noticed a path in the dust, as though someone had made several trips back and forth. The path led up the main staircase and into the master bedroom before coming to a stop directly under the open attic hatch. The air was foul under that hatch, as though whatever was responsible for the decaying stench lay just beyond it. Leaving her husband to stand vigil in case the artist or his daughter were to appear, the wife of the neighbors went home to retrieve a ladder. She returned shortly after with the ladder, and with tentative steps, the husband began his ascent into the attic. A few seconds after his head poked through the attic, he shouted for his wife to call the police. When the wife asked him what was wrong, he didn't answer. A look of shock and disgust across his face. Shaking his leg, she asked again, but he could only respond with, "It's him." The police arrived and made their way into the attic, only to discover the sight that caused such distress in the man. There, in the attic, hanging by his neck from one of the rafters, was the artist. It looked as though he had been there for several days, his body beginning to swell and bloat with the first signs of decay. Beneath him were several other corpses, each with parts missing. Some were missing arms, legs, or digits, while others were missing parts of their faces or skin. They looked grey and cold to the touch, as though they had been deceased for some time. This was enough to make some of the officers lose their breakfast. But what shook the officers the most was the note, tied around the artist's neck. On a thin scrap of paper, held in place by a length of string, it contained only one sentence that read, "She's perfect now." So, greatly concerned as to the fate of the artist's daughter, the police searched for hours in several places in the house and the town, but could not find any sign of her. The investigator handed me a picture of the artist and his daughter, an old photo taken on a Polaroid camera. The artist looked proud, standing in front of the house, along with a woman who I assumed was his wife and a young girl that must have been his daughter, staring into the camera.